If your vision told you to choose a different path, then the right opportunity is on the new one.
All right. Well, I am Grant from Screen Rant. How you doing today, Gil?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
I'm thrilled to chat with you. First and foremost, longtime fan of yours, but I just also love this show. I love Thomas, and I can't wait to see what's to come in part 2. They're being very secretive, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I'd love to talk about, so John's absence is a big thing this season. Obviously, him and Thomas have always been sort of chess moves on who can ultimately have the land. With John's absence this season, how is that going to impact his approach to their sort of battle? Is it going to embolden him and his power moves?
Well, there's so many different dynamics that occur that I'm not privy to. I'm sure you know we got redacted scripts, so I'm not sure what the family is doing or any of the other actors and their storyline. I only know the scenes that I worked on. But aside from that, John and I, or John and Rainwater, would generally have maybe one scene a season. And a lot of the rest of it was the build up to that, or the backstory of what the confrontation was going to lead them into their finally meeting face to face to have a discussion about it. And where we left it off last season, it seemed like there was more they had in common than not. As governor trying to stop the pipeline and informing people that this could be detrimental to the land. So we've always had a respect for each other in terms of the sacredness of land. Different reasons. His is a legacy of family, of ownership, and mine's is ancestral. And that's, I think, what creates great drama.
It really has. And I'm curious, again, to see how that sort of impacts Rainwater's planning with John not around. But I also love that in this first half of the season, as well as just in prior seasons, we've seen a lot of respect between your character and Kayce, and especially in the first half of the season, as you've really helped him and Monica sort of deal with their loss. What can you tell me about that dynamic going into this back half of episodes for this season?
Yeah, I love that storyline. Because there's an affinity that Rainwater will have simply because of the relationship that Monica has with Kayce, and Kayce's biological attachment to this Dutton family. But I feel he's more he's more open, I think, to understanding what the plight is for the indigenous people or the reservation, because he's married to a Native woman. And he's pulled on both sides, but it's given him an opportunity to kind of see both sides. And that's actually happened since the very first episode, when he was fighting for the cattle. I don't know if you recall that, but yeah, it's a beautiful storyline, and Luke is cast perfectly for it.
I have always loved watching it, and I also give a lot of credit to Taylor for conceiving that and for giving the indigenous characters so much screen time. And I'd love to hear if you have ever had talks with him about possibly branching off into your own spinoff, since this universe continues to grow with so many different shows.
Yeah, I always challenge it on arm wrestling contests to make sure one of those things happen. Taylor's such an independent and prolific mind. He might be open to suggestions, and I'm sure it's not just a biased position that I would love that to happen. But I've heard friends in his circle, say as much. So it's not lost on him. But he has so much on his plate already. And I guess if the time is right, if it ferments right, then he might follow that course of events, and that would be fantastic.
I know I would certainly love to see it, as well as just everybody, this whole universe continue to grow, because his storytelling just remains incredible. And I can't wait again to see how these final episodes play out, and hopefully maybe chat with you again when we can actually get into some spoilers. So I see I got to wrap up. I'll get on out of here, but thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Wish I'd known. Well, grief isn't meant to be shared. But comfort is. They could use some now.